Hello everyone and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 68. Today is Sunday, December 7th, 2014, and I'm really glad that you guys could join me today. I'm super duper excited because I had finished two things I had been working on since August. So eventually I finished things, I suppose. So as to start off, I can show you guys the socks. They are now on blockers, ends woven in, the whole bit. So these are sort of cranberry biscotti socks that I've been knitting for my grandpa. Key being sort of, I ended up screwing up the stitch pattern and made linen stitch socks instead. And it's out of 3 colors of wool myself, so the blue is Dora, the dark gray is Wazarots, and the variegated one, the dark gray is Grafrots, and the variegated one is Wazarots. So, yay! So they are for his massive, I guess 11 isn't too crazy, but they're for his size 11 feet. And I'm glad to see the end of them. So this means I have plenty of whatever, so I'll bring him to him for Christmas, and because that's when I'm going to be able to see him next, and we'll go from there. So I ended up weighing these before starting, and the 2 socks are 152 grams, so that's a lot of wool. And then, what is it? So I have about 10 left of the Grafrots, and about 60 left of the Wazarots, and then 79 grams left of the Dora. So based on how much my socks normally weigh when I knit with wool, I'll probably have to do something with another color in order to use this all up. So I ended up lining them up so I can put them away because they're done. So I am pretty happy with how these turned out. I still need to have my foot model do that so I can get some pictures for Ravelry and post them. It was really exciting. This week, sock knitters ended up reaching 4,000 socks for our 4,000 socks in 2014 count. So that was pretty awesome. And now that we reached the goal, for whatever reason, tons of people are contributing prizes, so oh, silliness. So, as a result, I need to keep going back and forth to the group and be like, hey, someone else donated something, and put them in the header and all that other fun stuff. But it seemed like it wasn't going to happen for the longest time, and then with the Whipscal, it seemed like suddenly lots of people were finishing, or lots of people realized that there was a chance of winning prizes. I'm not sure. But I don't know, when you have 12,000 people in a group, it shouldn't be too hard to get 4,000 socks. It's just a matter of people playing along and tagging. So that is the story there. So glad to see the end of them. I'm sure you guys are glad to see the end of them too, because I've been working on these since like August. Craziness. It took a while. I guess I wasn't too motivated on looking at them. the other thing I'm working on is the Moonstone Shawl by Renee Livington. I'm using Bijou Basin Shangri-La in some numeric colorway. I actually should be in the middle of the row at the moment. I was in the midst of a beading row. Oh wait, no, I'm not in a beading row right now. I must have finished that one. I think I'm getting ready to do a beading row, and for some reason I've misplaced my beads, so I need to either scour the bottom of the car or call the last 2 places I've been in order to find them. So I'm maybe like a few rows further along than I was last week, so it's coming together. It's quite nice. If I put it against the wall, can I see the pattern better? No, not really. So it has a very nice pattern. I'm still haven't memorized the repeat, which is good. And it's coming along. I actually printed out the pattern this week, so things are looking up in terms of me getting stuff done on this, but I'm pretty sure I am on a row that I need to apply the beads. It's actually a pearl. I actually apply the beads a row later than the pattern calls for, so that they're at the very center of the little motif. And so that means that I'm applying beads on a pearl back row. So it makes it a little bit more challenging because you have to read the wrong side for knitting, but it seems to be working out fairly well. For the other little piece, it seems to be okay. And it's really cool how it has this interlocking pattern where one is going up and one is going down, and then they lock together, which is cool. So once I find the beads for that, then I'll be making more progress on this. It just seems like I keep on running into little problems with this shawl that prevent me from moving forward. So that is the story there. So I did get a little bit work done on it, and if I can find my, what is it, if I can find my little bottle of beads, that would be even better. Okay, so the last thing I have, where is it? I guess it's on the floor, is something new I cast on. I decided I needed a mindless project, or something that I could keep in my bag and work on whenever. So I cast on for a, what is it? So I want to pronounce it the Spanish way, even though it's really Portuguese. So what is it? So the Spanish way would be viajante. If it is, I guess the Portuguese way is viajante. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm going to call it the viajante. We'll just go with that. Apparently in Portuguese they pronounce J's, but I have no clue how that sounds, so we're just going to roll with it. This is a pattern by Martina Ben. I decided to wind a skein of my Woolmeisel lace in the Blau tint colorway. And does that look navy blue to you? Because it is supposed to be, it's supposed to be like an eggplant purple. So imagine for a moment eggplant purple. You know? So this is going to look blue, and it's not. I think that is the only thing. I don't know if I was in natural light if it would look any better. So I am now knitting in the round, which is fine. I'm wondering if I actually need to rip back. I ended up, whatever, it's been this whole entire saga. So I started doing the garter triangle part, and I decided to do a different increase than what was called for in the pattern because I didn't really like executing that one. And so I ended up doing the whatever, the increase where you knit into it, your yarn over, and then you knit into it again, or knit into the stitch again to make 3 instead of doing increases on either side. And for whatever reason I ended up getting like off the rails or something like that. So then I would have to like go back and what is it? So then I have to go back and rip back to the part where I became like 1 stitch off or something like that. So I think I'm lined up at the moment, but I might need to rip back into the garter section again and redo that, which is sort of annoying. So this is supposed to use a whole entire skein of Woolmeisel lace. I didn't weigh my skein before I started, so I don't actually know what 20% left even looks like. I'll probably just do something where I do, oh, what is it? Where I just say, okay, 60 grams, close enough. I guess I don't remember if my skein had a label on it or not. because oftentimes the lace will have the weight marked on it. So, and at the moment, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to try using a different increase in order to get the look I want to have. So I might be making 5 and then knitting around as opposed to making 3 every round or something like that. It is an interesting sort of problem to have. So that is the story there. So I am now in the knitting in the round section, so it should be pretty smooth sailing from here and incredibly mindless, especially if it's really clear that I just have a do stuff row and a don't do stuff row. As opposed to do something on one side but not the other. Though decreasing is pretty easy to read, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So we'll see how the that's going to end up producing a pretty big hole too. I might just need to do a knit front and back sort of increase instead. And that'll be easy to do every row, unlike the center sort of increase thing. Yeah, it was worth a shot. I think I'll end up going with that because it's going to be close enough for me. So, thinking out loud. And then it might take a couple of rounds to figure out if I'm well enough centered or not with my current thing or not. So, so right now I have this on exactly the right size needle, and in fact it might even be a little bit small at the moment. And like I've basically just barely joined in the round. You guys can see that. So it will be, or it'll probably be one of those slow and steady sort of things. But as I was working on it this morning while drinking coffee, it just wasn't very well aligned, and that was irritating to me. So it might just turn out that I need to rip back to, sorry, I'm a little short today. So if I end up ripping back to there, if that would give me what it was I wanted, because it seems like I built my decreases on the wrong spot. But I would only need one marker if I was it increasing in a certain location. So I have a split ring marker that I'm just sticking in there in case I do change my mind again. So I was really wanted to get on to the next section, but the next section is going to be an awful lot of knitting before, the end. So so it's not going to be a very thrilling project. It will be a very wearable project. One of the women in my knitting group is knitting her third one. Well, actually, she's crocheting her third one, and it's just so pretty and such a functional little thing that I figure it would be a good use of the beloved wool mesa lace. So we shall see. So it won't be very thrilling, and it will go on for a long time, but it'll be delightfully mindless, which is perfectly good for me. So then I have whatever, a shawl I need to think about and pay attention to with all the beads, and then I have a shawl I don't need to think much at all once I finally hammer down what increases I really want to do. So that is the story there. So I'm looking forward to this project. I'm looking forward to the finished object, and having a delightfully mindless project will be good for me right now. So that is the story there. So, great big ball, and you can see basically, maybe you can see, it's so dark. Like, I have how much I've ripped back so far. So, we shall see if I end up rejiggering it or not. Again, I'll just never make forward progress. Stretch. So, the last thing I want to talk about is spinning. I also finished another long-standing work in progress this was from August of this year that I had started spinning this. So this is the Redfish Dye Works, and this is really eggplant purple too. I ended up getting 680 yards of a light fingering. It is 50% silk and 50% superfine merino. And I finished plying it on Tuesday. It was a real bear to do that last little bit of it. And so it isn't my most consistent spin ever. Like, I don't know if you guys can even see that there certainly is a decent amount of thick and thin in there. I haven't done the wraps per inch calculation. It definitely goes somewhere from a lace to a fingering in it, which is why I'm calling it a light fingering. It's definitely the most satisfied I've ever been spinning at this weight. It is really soft and really bouncy, and I feel like I did a really good job with it, which is exciting to me. Because the last time I spun really thin, it was horribly over twisted. So I'm really glad that it came out so lovely. So that is that. I had been working on this for a fairly long time. What was it? I ended up having one spin end up jumping ahead of it. But I am really happy with how it turned out. I haven't done a pattern search yet to figure out what it wants to become, but I'm thinking that I would want, like, it's definitely a shawl of some sort. It's definitely going to be a shawl. But the question of what exact shawl is it going to be? That is the question, because I think I would like to have this as a part of the something special cow, which is something that's going to start either, and what would that be? So I want to do a something special cow, which we take, what is it? Either a pattern that's special or a yarn that's special, and then make something beautiful with it. So it would be the case where, you know, you've been holding off and waiting in order to do something, and this is an opportunity to make it happen. So what was it? Because this was fiber that I'd had in my stash since episode 0. Oh my gosh. So excited about fiber. And now that I finally have made yarn with it, I can finally make a shawl with it. Oh, someone is calling me. That's my mom calling. I can call her back. I don't have too much more episode to go. Oh, and there's my phone ringing too. So, heyo guys. So, I'm sorry about that interruption. I thought, what is it? So, my mom called. I had to answer, because it's my mom. And then I went back to finish, like, doing the episode and figure out what the title was. and I realized that the section that I had started to record didn't have any sound. So I have no clue what I was talking about, and you guys definitely wouldn't know what I was talking about. So, and I realized I forgot to talk about some things too, so it's good that I got a chance to come back. So obviously the light has changed because there's no longer natural light, and I'm wearing a shawl, which I wasn't wearing before, but what can you do? So before I was interrupted, I was talking about the something special cow. So I'm hoping that this is something that we can do after the starting the 1st of January, to pick out something that you say haven't gotten around to yet, but that is incredibly lovely, and then go ahead and do it, because it would be fun and awesome. Because what is it? Like, if the months of November and December are all about, deferring your knitting desires, I think January is all about making what you want to make, because it's cold outside, and that's fantastic. So my thought is to use my freshly spun skein to make a shawl. And I'll have to do a pattern search and all that other fun stuff. That shouldn't be a big deal. And obviously I still have some things going on because it isn't, so this has been on the brain since I did decide to, start my yak silk and stuff like that, but such is life. So I'm really hoping that you guys want to join in the fun. It isn't like I have cows all that often, so. And this is a cow that anyone can get behind because it isn't like it's very specific. I'm a big fan of the non-specific cows. So, and still knitting away on this, which is rather enjoyable and decidedly mindless, which can't complain about. I think I'm further behind than what I was earlier today, so lots of negative knitting today, unfortunately. The one thing I forgot to talk about was my latest spinning project. So I pulled it out and then totally forgot to talk about it. So I haven't even started this yet, but I am planning on starting it soon. So these, crinkle, 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 are my roll-offs. Can I show it better this way? No, there is no good way to display the roll-offs because the bag gets in the way. But let's just imagine here that I just have a giant bag of squirrel tails, and that I have my spindle all ready to go. Is like really what it boiled down to was I didn't start that particular whatever, and so that's a part of the sweater spin, the chocolate Shetland fleece. It's been a long going project as well. I don't think it necessarily counts as anything special, but it will be incredibly exciting to finally or to make some progress on my sweater spin. And honestly, I don't even have any ideas on what to spin next anyway, so I probably will do 2 skeins of the Shetland yarn before I switch to something different. It doesn't look like there's any hope of me making the spin the bin goal, so such is life. I tried. I think if I work at it, I probably can get 2 done before the end of the year, but like more than that. So this is probably going to be something where I'm knitting a sweater for myself for next winter instead of this winter, unless like something big changes along those lines. So what else? It looks like I won't be able to record the last week of December. I'm just going to be way too busy. So I don't have a weekend free, so it doesn't really make sense to record. So I'll be taking a little holiday break. No worries, but I should be able to record next week and the week after, which means I will be good to go for the 14th and the 21st. And this month is really easy because they're all multiples of 7. Yes. maybe that'll be my episode title. I really don't have much of a clue today. So let's see. Anything else I wanted to talk about? So I mentioned my finished spinning, my new spinning. I talked about all my knitting. I talked about the cow that's upcoming. I talked about how we met our goal for the 4,000 socks, which is super duper exciting. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover this week. So I hope you guys all have a great week, and I look forward to talking again soon. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.